It was 3:14 a.m. when the world outside my window shook. At first, I thought it was thunder. The ground trembled, the dogs started barking, and then came the unmistakable roar of diesel engines. Heavy, mechanical, angry. I grabbed my flashlight and stumbled toward the porch. What I saw next froze me cold. Headlights glared through the darkness. A line of construction trucks, unmarked, dirty, and loud, was idling right at the edge of my yard. One of them had a bulldozer attachment, and it was already tearing down my fence. "Hey!" I shouted, running out barefoot, flashlight beams slicing through the night. "Get the hell off my property." The bulldozer kept going, the fence collapsing like matchsticks under its steel blade. Then a voice called out from behind the machines. Clipped, authoritative, trying to sound official. "Sir, step back. HOA property reclamation in progress." I blinked, trying to process that absurd statement. HOA property? At 3 a.m.? On my rural land? 3 miles outside their jurisdiction? That's when I noticed the men, wearing black jackets with HOA security, printed in cheap reflective letters. But these weren't real officers. Their badges were fake, their gear mismatched, and their trucks didn't have plates. They were imposters, thugs dressed up to look official. I didn't waste a second. I turned and sprinted toward the house, yelling for my son, Jake. He was 14, smart as a whip, and had a fascination with military history thanks to my old service days. He met me at the hallway wide-eyed. "Dad, what's happening?" "Fake HOA goons are tearing down the fence," I said, grabbing the phone. "Call 911 now." As he dialed, I peeked through the window. They were pushing further onto the property, maybe 30 feet in, trying to clear space for something. And that's when I realized their plan. They were preparing to mark my land as abandoned, to seize it for the HOA's next development phase. I felt fury rising in my chest. That deep, hot, protective rage only a father feels when someone threatens his home. Then I heard Jake shout from the back room, "Dad, what about Grandpa's tank?" For a moment, I blinked at him, and then it hit me. My father had been a World War II collector. On our land, under a weatherproof shed, sat a fully restored M1 Abrams tank. Demilitarized, of course, but the engine still ran. It had been used for parades and veteran events. "Get the keys," I said. Jake's eyes widened. Seriously? Seriously? We ran out through the side door, boots crunching on gravel, the engine still rumbling in the distance. Jake jumped into the driver's seat like he'd been waiting for this moment his entire life. I climbed up beside him, heart pounding. The moment that engine roared to life, the night changed. The sound alone, a deep, thunderous growl, rolled through the valley like a warning from the gods. The HOA security team froze mid-motion, staring into the dark. Jake grinned. "Let's scare him, Dad." The headlights of the tank blazed on, cutting through the dark. I climbed up through the commander's hatch and shouted over the roar of the engine. "This is private property. You're trespassing and committing vandalism. Leave now or you'll regret it." They didn't move at first. One guy even tried to raise his fake badge. "You can't threaten us. We're authorized." Jake pressed the throttle just enough to make the ground rumble, the tank inching forward. The bulldozer driver panicked first, slammed the gears into reverse and backed up so fast he almost tipped over. The others followed, stumbling over each other in a scramble to reach their trucks. Tools clattered, flashlights fell, and within seconds, the convoy was peeling out down the dirt road, leaving behind half a fence and a lot of tire tracks. The police arrived 10 minutes later, sirens flashing, lights reflecting off the tank's steel hull. Officer Daniels stepped out, took one look at the scene, and burst out laughing. "Let me guess," he said. "You rolled out the Abrams again?" I nodded. Didn't even have to fire a shot. After the initial chaos, the investigation moved fast. Turns out those HOA security guys weren't even connected to the real homeowners association. They were contractors hired by a corrupt property developer tied to the HOA's treasurer. Their goal was to bulldoze my boundary fence, then claim the land was vacant and under development. What they didn't expect was a homeowner with security cameras, legal records, and a 68-ton war machine in the barn. The case hit local news. The headline read, "Fake HOA goons bulldoze ranch fence. Flee when family rolls out tank." Within days, the county sheriff's office arrested 3 men for trespassing, vandalism, and impersonation of law enforcement. The developer behind them faced fraud charges and lost every contract in the region. The real HOA, terrified of being associated, issued a public apology and banned anyone involved from ever holding office again. That weekend, Jake and I rebuilt the fence together. As we worked, he asked, "Dad, you think they'll ever try that again?" I smiled. "Not unless they bring their own tank." We both laughed, the sound echoing across the quiet fields. Now, whenever I see the Abrams sitting in the shed, clean and silent under its tarp, I pat the steel and whisper, "Good job, old friend," because that night, a 14-year-old and a forgotten relic of war reminded a gang of fraudsters, and the whole world, that some homes can't be bullied, bought, or bulldozed. And in this family, we defend our ground with courage, proof, and, if necessary, a 1,500 horsepower engine.